Hi there, my name is Mark. I'm a translator and writer as well as a devout fan of the written word. And today I'd like to share with you a great piece of literature in translation by one of my favorite authors from Poland, Olga Tokarczuk. Now, as far as Polish literature is concerned, you may have come across the names of Nobel Prize winners Czesław Miłosz or the poet Wisława Szymborska, or you may have read, if you're a sci-fi buff, the works of Stanisław Lem. But in fact, and especially today, there are a number of talented writers who are publishing very interesting pieces of work in Poland. And Tokarczuk is definitely within this group, where I would even say that she tops the list. The author herself has been active in her home country for over 20 years, and her books have been translated into several languages, which includes English, thanks to the devotion, hard work, and talent of translators Antonia Lloyd-Jones and Jennifer Croft. Now, what I would like to present today is an earlier work of Olga Tokarczuk. It's a novel called Primeval and Other Times. It was published in Poland in 1996 and translated into English by Antonia Lloyd-Jones. Now, the first question you might ask about the book is, okay, well, who, what, or where is Primeval? And fortunately, the author doesn't make us wait too long for the answer to that question. So if you turn to the first page, you'll find out very quickly that Primeval is the place at the center of the universe. And indeed, Primeval is a small village which doesn't really exist. However, it's set in a very real setting in eastern region of Poland. The book talks about a family from the village, or two families, sorry, from the village, and spans nearly the entire 20th century, from the times of World War I up until the modern times, the end of the 1980s. What I really like about this book is that you can enjoy it on several levels. So if you're interested in discovering new and exotic places, new people, and new landscapes, the author gives us vivid and colorful descriptions of Primeval, of the village, of its surrounding nature, and generally the surrounding area and region. Then on yet another level, and the first sentence of the book hints this, you can view Primeval as an archetype or symbol of 20th century Europe. So you can view the tale of the village as a kind of lesson in history that shows you what events, what tragedies, what life and death situations shaped the continent and its people. And finally, on a very, I'd say, personal, interesting level, Tokarczuk has filled the vivid and colorful landscape with a set of interesting and often eccentric characters, which each tell their own story and have their own message to convey. And very often they comment on very social issues such as women's rights or religious tolerance, for example. And on top of that, to make things even more interesting, Tokarczuk has added a bit of the supernatural to the story, which is a technique that she uses very often in her other books. Always something that's a bit mysterious, that's a bit unexplained, a bit, let's say, risk the word magic. And in fact, a number of critics have claimed that her work is that of magic realism, which the author herself declined several times. However, you do get that feel when you read her work. So, in effect, what you get is, in addition to the very interesting human characters, you get a number of non-human characters, which is great. So, the river which flows through Primeval becomes a character. The woods become a character. The meadows become a character. Even the portrait of the Virgin Mary in the local church becomes a character as well in the story, which gives it really a very interesting twist. And finally, another great thing about this book is the way it's structured. The chapters are quite short. They're actually called Times, which comes from that's where the second part of the title comes from, Primeval and Other Times. And it's essentially divided into times, which is a time which is devoted to each of the characters or each of the events. So each of the characters in the book receive their own time, and in fact the village, the first chapter of the book, is called the Time of Primeval, so even the village has its own chapter. This is great because it gives you very interesting structure to the book, and if you're pressed for time, you can enjoy the book one chapter at a time without missing much to the flow. So I highly recommend it from that perspective as well. So I hope I managed to convince you to take a look into Olga Tokarczuk and her Primeval and Other Times. I know you'll enjoy it, and if you have any question on this or any of our other books, please feel free to write to Thornfield. I'll be glad to answer any questions. Thanks very much for your attention.